Welcome to Avid 101. Today we are going to learn about transitions, so sit back and let's watch this informative film by Bob Thompson. It's all about transitions in Avid Media Composer. Roll the film.
Welcome to Avid Media Composer, and I'm Bob Thompson, your teacher today, and I'm going to talk about transitions. You've seen them, you've probably gone a long way on your sequence, and now you want to, maybe instead of just a cut between each shot, you want to add a transition. And generally speaking, the most common transition would be a dissolve or some kind of fade into the next shot, and those are called transitions. Transitions are part of the effects that Avid Media Composer has. There's three main types of effects. There's the segment effect, which is any kind of effect that you apply to a segment of video, and each one of these is a segment. There's motion effects, which it applies to a segment, and what that does is maybe you want to change the speed, maybe you want to slow it down or freeze frame. Those are called motion effects. And there's transition effects, and that's what we're going to work on today. And that's just transitioning from each shot from here to here. So in order to begin, we're going to actually bring up the transition menu. Let's kind of bring this over here. And so in order to do that, I want to add an effect between these two shots right here. So what you would do is take your position blue line indicator and put it right close. It doesn't have to be exact, but right about here between the two cuts. I've only got video 1 selected, and we're going to go from there. And to bring up that menu, you press the backslash button above the enter key. There you go. It brings up the quick transition menu. Now if you see a lot of different things here going on, and let's go through it. We're applying this to video 1. You can see that's highlighted and that's highlighted. You could apply transitions to audio as well, but I just don't have any audio on this particular timeline. But there's different ways to do transitions to audio, so typically you might just keyframe it down. But since we're going to work on visual effects, just video, that's what we're going to work on today. And you can see I can turn it on, turn it off. Right here it says add, and those are the different types of quick dissolves, quick transitions that we can use. This default is dissolve, of course. There's film dissolve. And the difference between film fade and film dissolve, it's how they transition with lights in terms of luminance. As film, it gets a little darker, so it brightens up some of the lights during that transition. Fade to color, exactly. We'll fade to a color. Maybe you want it to pop to white. Fade from color, maybe at the beginning of a clip you want it to fade from black. There you go. Dip to color, that would be the white flash in between each shot. And 3D S3D, I'm sorry, depth transition. That's for 3D editing. Yes, there's those films you see. You have to wear the glasses, and they're filmed in 3D. You have to edit them a certain way, stereoscopic, and this would be a transition you can use for that. Right here, you see the green A, and then it's kind of hard to see on this one. Let's make it a little bit better for you can see that. We'll tighten that up. You'll see how this is dark green, and this is dark green, and this is light green. Well, this is A clip. This is the B clip here on the right. And the the dark green, those are called handles, and we need that extra media to make it dissolve. It's media you don't see on the timeline, but exist. This clip is longer than what I'm showing on the timeline, and it's longer by 37 frames. The B clip, same thing. It's longer by 133 frames on this side. And you need these for any kind of dissolves. As you see, if I want to make a really long dissolve, I need to have that extra media so the computer can kind of calculate that dissolve. The button below here, if you this would be centering the dissolve. Maybe I want it right in the center. Or maybe I want it to the right. Or maybe I want it to the left. And what that means is I'd be starting that dissolve before the actual transition point. And right at that transition point, it would cut to the next shot. So you start at A, and it'll start dissolving, and then it'll dissolve right into the first frame of the B side. Or I want it right in the center. Generally speaking, usually you do. and then to the right. So let's just say we want it right in the center. It looks good. We can change center. 46 frames. Let's go 30 frames, and then hit add. And now when you play, you see it dissolves right from there to there. And that is the first dissolve that it's going to be the first transition that you've made. It's perfect. It's easy. You can just hit play, and now you have a dissolve. Well, let's just say you want to get rid of it. You don't like it. It was all wrong. You can hit remove effect, and it gets rid of it. But say you like it, and you just want to maybe stretch it out a little bit longer, or maybe the timing's not right. What we can do is go to the transition manipulation and just click on there, and you see these two little dots there. These are the handles that I can drag longer. And see what happens now when I click on it? All these frames come up. That's important. If you look at these, a transition point right in the center, these right in the middle are the two frames of the transition point. These two frames on the left are the first frames of the transition, the middle, and the end. And then these two on the right are the last frame, the transition effects. So I want to go down here and click one of the handles, and I can drag that out, and you see how the end changes. If I can do the other way, click and drag out, and you see how the first frames are affected. Now these two are the first frames of the transition effect, the center, and then the end. If you like that, you can just click it again, click outside. Now I've made this transition a little bit longer. In fact, if I bring up the quick transition menu, I see I've made it 56 as opposed to 30. So let's try one more thing here before we call it a day. Dissolve. Let's try dip to color. We'll hit add, and you see it zips to black. But maybe I don't want black. I want white, red, some crazy color. In order to bring that up, I click over here where it says effect mode. And here we go. We have the effect editor. And you see right here it says black. It doesn't say black, but you see this little black patch here. That's because that's a default. And if I click down, or I can even click this little menu, this will pop up. Or if I want to change the luminance and the saturation, maybe you know exactly what color you want, but you see how I'm changing it now? I can change it to any color. You can make it brighter or whatever. I'm going to make it, let's say blue. I like that. You click on blue, or you click in here, hit OK, and you can just step out of that. So now I've made this a blue transition. Alright, so that's basically it. I hope you enjoyed this first lesson. It's really Transitions 101. You can do a lot more in the effects palette. There's a whole bunch of different types of third-party plugins for transitions. But for today, that's the entry-level transition effects on the Avid Media Composer. Thanks a lot.
That's it. I hope you learned a lot. See you tomorrow.